What archaeologists discovered inside this Warring States tomb shocked the world. In the world of ancient mysteries, some tombs do more than just conceal skeletal remains. They harbor chilling stories and forgotten powers. And in a recent excavation in Anyang, Henan Province, China, archaeologists unlocked a haunting gateway into the past. To begin today's video, I'll take you deep into a burial ground that has slumbered undisturbed for over 3,000 years. A place that once bore witness to blood-soaked funerary rituals and the raw authority of the ancient Shang dynasty. Here's the story. At the excavation site, a team of experts discovered 24 ancient tombs, all dating back 3 millennia. But what truly sent shivers through the archaeological community were the skeletal remains of soldiers found in several of these tombs. They weren't just ordinary corpses. According to analysis, these individuals may have been buried alive during funerary ceremonies, a brutal but common practice under the Shang dynasty. Back then, the death of a powerful figure was never the end. It marked the beginning of a terrifying sacrificial ritual. The ancients believed that those in power would need servants in the afterlife, and so humans became living offerings, buried alongside their masters to continue their service beyond death. This is no myth or legend, it's a cold reality, reconstructed from fragments of bone and surviving archaeological evidence. And it wasn't just people. 4 horse-drawn chariot pits were also unearthed at the site, along with remarkably well-preserved artifacts, from jade and stone items to bronze pieces inscribed with ancient characters. Among these inscriptions, the symbol CA appeared repeatedly, suggesting a once powerful clan that dominated this region. Kong Deming, director of the Chinese Academy of Archaeology, confirmed, "We found numerous oracle bone inscriptions bearing the name of the CA clan." The recurring presence of this clan symbol on the relics indicates that this was once a major power in the Anyang area. Now, if you're unfamiliar with oracle bone script, let me explain. It's the oldest known form of Chinese writing, carved into animal bones or turtle shells, used primarily for divination ceremonies. Their presence at this burial site not only helps date the tombs, but also provides direct evidence of the spiritual and political life during the Shang dynasty. But not all of these tombs remain intact. One of the largest showed clear signs of grave robbery. Shattered pottery was scattered across the ground, and several valuable relics were improperly buried, as if looters had ransacked every corner in search of treasure left by the ancestors. Yet, even what was left behind was enough to stun the experts. Some skeletons were ornately adorned, indicating that these individuals were far from ordinary. One set of remains wore a headdress made from strings of rare seashells, while the skulls of horses were decorated with gold, a metal reserved only for the nobility. These details paint a vivid picture. This was no commoner's cemetery. It was the final resting place of the ruling elite, those who once stood at the pinnacle of power and took both their splendor and their shadows with them into the earth. Each artifact, each burial pit, each fragment of bone, they all whisper to us of a chapter in history buried by time. But here's the truly remarkable part. These discoveries are only the beginning. The excavation at Anyang is still ongoing, and archaeologists believe that this cemetery may be just the tip of a much larger funerary complex. So the question remains, what else will be uncovered in the days to come? Could we eventually discover the main tomb of the CE clan? Or perhaps even more gruesome evidence of larger, deeper sacrificial rituals hidden in the annals of history? These are questions that may take time to answer. But tell me, do you think this is the only discovery that has shocked archaeologists? If so, you might want to think again, because throughout both the past and the present, archaeologists have made countless stunning and even slightly shocking discoveries. So beyond this ancient tomb, what else have they found? Stay with me until the end of this video, and let's uncover them together. An ancient Maya city hidden in the jungles of Mexico. Have you ever imagined that deep within the dense, wild jungles of southern Mexico lies a lost ancient city, once a thriving center of a brilliant civilization thousands of years ago? Recently, archaeologists made a groundbreaking discovery, a previously unknown Maya city, and the find is shaking the global archaeological community. This newly uncovered city is called Ocamtun, meaning stone column in the Yucatec Maya language, a simple name that hints at a place once rich in rituals, power, and monumental architecture. Believed to have played a vital role between AD 250 and 1000, Okamtun was not just any urban settlement. It may have been one of the largest and most influential hubs in the entire Maya region. The ancient city was found deep in the rainforest, sitting on high ground surrounded by sprawling wetlands, nearly completely isolated from the outside world for centuries. When archaeologists entered Okamtun's central area, they were overwhelmed by what stood before them. Massive pyramid-like structures, some rising nearly 50 feet, 3 large plazas with monumental buildings arranged in near concentric circles, a layout that not only required advanced engineering, but also reflected the highly organized social and political systems of the ancient Maya. The stone columns, true to the city's name, stood tall like timeless sentinels, telling stories that had been forgotten for millennia. And there's more. Archaeologists also uncovered an ancient ball court, a sacred arena where legendary Maya ball games once took place. This game wasn't merely sport, it was a cosmic ritual. The rubber ball symbolized the sun, and players had to pass it through a narrow stone hoop without using their hands. The game mirrored planetary movements, deeply tied to Maya religious beliefs and their astonishing knowledge of astronomy. Near the La Regana River, researchers also discovered central altars believed to have been used for public rituals and community ceremonies. While more research is needed to fully understand the cultures that once lived here, it's clear that Okamtun was once the sacred heart of a spiritually and intellectually advanced society. Dr. Ivan Sprike, the lead archaeologist on the team, believes the city's refined layout and choice of materials point to a highly organized society where political power and religion were tightly interwoven into everyday life. But like so many once glorious civilizations, Okamtun eventually fell into decline. Based on construction materials and architectural evidence, scientists estimate the city began to deteriorate between AD 800 and 1000, a time of widespread crisis across the Maya world. Shifts in ideology, population pressures, and environmental changes may have forced the people to abandon Okamtun, leaving behind magnificent structures to be swallowed by vines and moss over the centuries. By the time the Spanish arrived in the late 1600s, the remnants of the Maya civilization had been reduced to weakened outposts, which eventually succumbed to the power of Western military campaigns. Today, the discovery of Okamtun not only opens a new chapter in the understanding of Maya history, but also serves as a powerful reminder of the rise and fall of civilizations that once reached astonishing heights. In an age where science and technology allow us to uncover Earth's deepest secrets, cities like Okamtun stand as living testaments to human brilliance, ambition, and the timeless lessons of history that modern society must never forget. The 16-feet-tall giant skeleton discovered in Malaysia. On December 17, 2016, Malaysian historian Maud Fuad Kusari M. said revealed a shocking discovery on Pulau Upe Island, located off the coast of Malacca State, Malaysia. While searching for archaeological remains under the authority of the Malacca state government, he uncovered a set of human remains significantly larger than those of an average person, found inside a cave. The exposed bone fragments led him to believe that the skeleton belonged to a person estimated to have stood between 10 to 16 feet tall. This discovery could serve as potential evidence supporting long-standing legends about giants once living in Malacca, particularly during the era of the Malay Kingdom. Historian Fuad stated that the size of the skull and other bones indicated that this individual possessed an exceptionally large physique. Furthermore, the dimensions of the skeleton appeared to align with the size of several giant graves, such as the tomb of King Arifin and the 7 warrior brothers located on Pulau Besar in the neighboring state of Johor, Malaysia. However, these burial sites have not yet been excavated, leaving the tale of giants in the region a mystery still waiting to be solved. In addition to the skeletal remains, Mr. Maud Fuad also discovered 2 unusual graves located about 0.75 miles from the cave. These graves each measured around 16.4 feet long and 1.6 feet wide, spaced approximately 65 feet apart. However, instead of excavating them, he chose to report the findings to the proper authorities. Previously, Malaysia had also recorded several giant-sized graves on Pulau Besar, believed to be the resting places of religious leaders from Yemen, India, and Java. These graves were also far larger than typical burial sites, possibly because the individuals interred were of extraordinary physical stature, or perhaps because they were laid to rest in oversized graves to honor their contributions to the spread of Islam. This new discovery at Pulau Upe raises fascinating questions about the possible existence of giant humans in ancient history. It also promises to offer valuable insights for ongoing historical and archaeological research in Malaysia. There's a real possibility that, in the near future, scholars may achieve major breakthroughs in proving the existence of a race of giants, a chapter of history that has long remained buried beneath myth and legend. The mysterious skull inside the hollow, Witch Elm tree. Countless paintings, photographs, novels, and even songs have been inspired by the legendary case of Who Put Bella in the Witch Elm. Yet, to this day, the victim's identity remains cloaked in mystery. Who Put Bella in the Witch Elm is also the title of a hauntingly somber track by the British musician Gravenhurst. Though the song itself is relatively obscure, its name stems from one of the most infamous murder cases in Birmingham's history, a mystery that has gripped the local imagination for 82 years and continues to puzzle investigators who have never been able to identify the woman found. The story began in 1943 when a young boy named Bob Farmer and a few friends were climbing an old witch elm tree on the abandoned Cobham estate. Unknowingly, these carefree children were about to uncover a mystery that would stretch across decades. Inside the dead, hollowed-out tree, they found a human skull, still with a few teeth and a clump of hair. Terrified, the boys agreed to put it back and never speak of it again. But one of them, Tommy Whitles, eventually broke down and told his parents. The police were quickly called in. Upon investigation, they discovered the rest of the skeleton, consisting of whitened bones covered by scraps of decayed clothing. One hand still bore a gold wedding ring, while the other hand was missing entirely. All of it had been stuffed inside the rotting trunk of the witch elm tree. Forensic analysis indicated that the woman was likely around 35 years old, had given birth at least once, and died from asphyxiation. She had likely been placed inside the tree while still alive, a chilling possibility that left investigators and the public horrified. Later, the missing right hand was found buried nearby. A piece of taffeta fabric was also discovered inside the victim's mouth. No further identifying information was ever recovered, not even a name. Then, during Christmas of that same year, Birmingham residents were startled by an eerie message scrawled in chalk across city streets. Who put Bella in the witch elm? It read like a haunting question, or perhaps an accusation. Similar graffiti began appearing all over town. The police chose not to comment publicly, but quietly continued their investigation. Some believed the writer of these cryptic messages knew the victim's identity, and thus, the body in the hollow tree came to be known simply as Bella. This led to speculation linking her to a missing sex worker in Birmingham who vanished in 1941, a timeline that closely matched the estimated date of death. However, due to a lack of evidence, authorities were never able to confirm whether the two women were the same person. Then, in 1953, the small community was rocked once again, exactly 10 years after Bella's body was discovered. A woman named Una Mossop came forward, claiming her cousin Jack Mossop had confessed to placing a woman inside the tree, along with a Dutch man named Van Ralt, while the two were drunk. However, this claim was dismissed, as Jack Mossop had been institutionalized and had died several years before Una's report. From that point forward, the case of Bella in the Witch Elm became a local legend, filled with all the elements of a gothic horror story. A forgotten, mist-covered woodland, a skeletal corpse resting silently inside a tree for 18 months, and a missing hand, possibly linked to occult rituals. Some even speculated that Bella was really Clara Bauerle, a Nazi spy who disappeared in Britain during the darkest days of the war. Then, in 2016, the eerie messages, "Who put Bella in the witch elm?" began to appear again, rekindling the public's fascination and fear. Now 82 years old, this mystery has outlived the woman herself, had she survived that fateful day. Though the investigation has long since gone cold, many still hope that Bella's true identity will someday be uncovered, offering closure and justice for a soul long lost in the shadows of history. Graveyard of giant wombats discovered. Scientists have recently made yet another fascinating discovery with the announcement of the largest known graveyard of Diprotodons, a species of giant wombat that went extinct around 50,000 years ago. This massive fossil site is located in the state of Queensland, Australia, and contains the remains of at least 20 individual Diprotodons. Among them, the most prominent find is the remarkably preserved skeleton of a giant wombat nicknamed Kenny. Kenny is one of the most complete Diprotodon fossil specimens ever found. Its jawbone alone measures about 27.5 inches, highlighting the sheer size and strength of this incredible prehistoric creature. For those unfamiliar, Diprotodons were the largest marsupial species to ever walk the earth. These giants could weigh up to 6,200 pounds, roughly equivalent to a modern rhinoceros. They roamed the Australian continent between 2 million and 50,000 years ago, grazing on grass and low-lying vegetation. Despite their massive build, they were herbivores and played a significant role in their ecosystems. However, Diprotodons gradually went extinct, most likely due to a combination of climate change and the arrival of modern humans. The discovery of this graveyard is helping scientists better understand how and why this megafauna disappeared. Dr. Scott Hocknull, lead excavator and a researcher at the Queensland Museum, shared that his team plans to reconstruct the environmental conditions these creatures once lived in. By studying the fossil remains at this burial site, researchers hope to uncover clues about the changes in the Diprotodon's ecosystem, especially the factors that may have led to their extinction. Scientists suspect that climate shifts played a major role, potentially altering the landscape too quickly for these giant animals to adapt. Alongside these natural changes, the emergence of early humans, with their advanced hunting skills and resource exploitation, could have accelerated the loss of habitat and food sources, pushing Diprotodons and other megafauna toward extinction. If this theory proves correct, the discovery of the Diprotodon graveyard could be a major step forward in solving one of prehistoric nature's greatest mysteries: the extinction of large Ice Age animals. The site offers not only a wealth of information about a long-lost species, but also valuable insights into how human activity and climate change have historically impacted animal populations. Ultimately, this discovery serves as an important reminder. By studying the past, we can draw critical lessons for the conservation of modern wildlife and ecosystems, ensuring we don't repeat the mistakes that led to the disappearance of giants like the Diprotodon. 8. Mysterious mummies in a cave and the unsolved secrets they left behind. In 1991, during an exploration of a mysterious cave called Asi al-Hadath in Lebanon, archaeologists uncovered a remarkable set of medieval-era mummies. This was an extraordinary find, and researchers believe the burials date back to around 1283 AD. The mummies are believed to have belonged to the Maronites, an ancient religious community native to Lebanon. What makes this discovery even more exceptional is the fact that these may be the first and possibly the only mummies ever found in Lebanon. Located in the Hadath el-Gibbet region, the Asi al-Hadath cave seems to have once been an ideal place for habitation. Near the cave is a man-made water reservoir which would have supported settlement and daily life. Additionally, the cave has two large chambers that may have served as living spaces for ancient residents. Unlike the famous Egyptian mummies, the remains found in this cave were naturally preserved, giving them the appearance of simply being asleep, astonishingly lifelike. The preservation state of the bodies is truly extraordinary. Archaeologists suggest that the cave's low humidity and the absence of organisms that typically cause decomposition helped facilitate this natural mummification process. The most striking story from this discovery is the mummy of a baby girl, estimated to be just 4 months old, who has been given the name Yasmin. She was carefully buried, dressed in beautiful clothing, including 3 dresses in shades of blue and beige, along with glass bead earrings and necklaces, precious jewelry likely given to her by her mother. Near her remains were items such as laurel leaves, almonds, walnuts, garlic skins, and onions, all of which suggest unique burial customs practiced by the Maronite community at that time. In addition to Yasmin, 7 other mummified bodies were found in the same area, 4 children and 3 adults. This has deepened researchers' curiosity about the lives and deaths of these individuals. Upon close examination, scientists confirmed that the mummification occurred naturally, not through human intervention. Artifacts found nearby were equally impressive, including finely woven textiles and wooden arrowheads typical of the medieval period. This raises a major question. Why did all of these individuals die together in this cave? And how exactly did they die? Researchers suggest that the Crusades, which were occurring during that time, might provide a clue. The city of Tripoli, not far from the cave, was under siege during that era. Many believe that these Maronites may have fled into the cave to escape invading armies, only to fall victim to some deadly disaster. However, this remains just a theory. The exact cause of death for these people is still one of history's unsolved mysteries. The mummies and artifacts found in Asi al-Hadath cave stand as a vivid testament to a long-lost chapter of history, a mysterious tale of life and death among the ancient Maronites. Though the full story may never be uncovered, the discovery has already shed light on the lifestyle, beliefs, and cultural practices of this medieval community. It's considered one of the most significant archaeological finds in Lebanese history. As you can see, the ancient world never fails to surprise us. From ancient ruins and tombs to perfectly preserved skeletons, everything about it makes us stop and wonder, how much do we really know about our past? So among today's discoveries, which one impressed you the most? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss another fascinating discovery. Until next time, goodbye, and see you in the next adventure.